So I've put decals on now. Looks quite nice. I put on the vertical stands or the wingtips, whatever you'd like to call it. Put Velcro on the battery and position the battery as close as I can to the FC board here, the center of gravity. I'm also going to try it with a 7.4 volt 1200 mAh battery. It'll fit in here and hopefully that won't affect the center of gravity, but it is a nice size and it's a 30C battery. And when you put the props on, one prop goes on anti-clockwise and the other prop goes on clockwise, and it's self-tightening. I'm going to leave the props off for now. Now, when you look at the instruction manual, this is quite generic for all the various models and not really specific to a BNF or an ARF model, so it doesn't really give you much information, although it is in good English and has good illustrations. But just knowing the aircraft, the main parameters, gives you the remote control for an RTF version functions, the product features. So you know, you've got self-stabilization flights, which is good for a low speed flight, so which is horizontal, and then you can go into manual mode and you can do the 360 rolls. Then it gives you the LED definitions. A red light is for vertical flight mode. The green light should be horizontal self-propelled, and a yellow light for manual mode. And just pre-flight preparation, FPV installation if that's relevant, battery charging, battery installation, propeller installation. Then this should do horizontal calibration by pulling both sticks down to the bottom in the lowest position. And then it says use a throttle switch to lock and unlock, but this seems to be for the radio controller that comes with the RTF version. FPV, and then it gives you an idea on how to use the sticks to fly in vertical mode and in horizontal flight mode, and a little bit more information. Now this works mainly on differential thrust for steering and is not so reliant on the ailerons. So unfortunately the manual is not very helpful, because if you really have a look at this, you know, the first question you ask yourself is, oh, do I set this up as a wing? But then a wing doesn't have rudder. Do you set it up as an aeroplane? But then what about the vertical lift? Do you set it up as a multi-rotor? Put it into mode D8. Now here's the receiver and the bind button there. So I'll need to hold down the bind button, connect the battery, and then press bind on the controller here. release. Can't see a light on here. Let me disconnect the battery. Stop the bind process. Connect this up. And I've got a solid blue light on the receiver here. So if we have a look at the setup I've got now on the Taranis QX7. Go to the menu. Click model. So we're on D8. Look at inputs. We're still left it as throttle, aileron, and rudder. I've set the SA switch over here to go into the different modes, and we'll see we're in vertical mode, a green light, so the manual is incorrect. In vertical mode, it should be a green light. And then to calibrate as well, just pull both sticks down and it flashes, and that's it calibrated in vertical mode. To go into horizontal mode, go in there, we've got a red light, and to go into manual mode, all the way down, and I've got a yellow light for manual mode. And there we are back into vertical mode. And then if we look at the mixer's got to be channel 1 rudder, channel 2 aileron, channel 3 throttle, channel 4 aileron, and then channel 5 I've got the horizontal switch. So if I press throttle, I've got throttle here. And if I try and turn left or right, the ailerons do move in vertical mode. Elevators move too. We go into horizontal mode now. And I go with the aileron. It's going to use the motor differential to turn. Even if I use rudder as well, elevator works as well. And if I flick and I go into manual mode now, watch what happens when I use the rudder. There we go. And it's going to use the ailerons in manual mode to turn. If I use the aileron to try and turn in manual mode, it's still going to use the differential thrust of the motors to turn. So it's all set up now. Let me take it out and see how it flies. Let's see how this Eachine Mirage E500 goes. So batteries connected, status lights on green for vertical flight. Okay, we'll take off in vertical mode. Also going to time it, start the clock, take off. Okay, so quite steady, holds quite nicely. Can move left. Okay, let's go to horizontal flight. Wow, okay, in horizontal flight, flying very nicely. Does turn quite well too. Oh, really impressed with how well this is flying. You know, it turns flat, but it still flies very well. And really not a bad turn at all. So let's just go into slow cruise. Oh, it goes nicely in slow cruise. Very still, very steady, very nice, very good. I haven't got that much space to fly around here, but it's going well, and we've been going 2 minutes. Turn and come back. Does stabilize quite well, keeps wanting to climb because of the ailerons. It's okay. We'll just keep it going now in horizontal mode, see how much flying time we can get. Really flying nicely. Quite impressed with how this is flying. Nice and steady, nice and smooth. Just turning with the aileron. A little bit wobbly on the corners. Still flying nicely. Still in horizontal mode. We've been going nearly 7 minutes. Oops, come back. Really cruises nicely. A little bit wary to go into manual mode in this limited space. Maneuvering well, turning well, holding steady. Does turn quite sharply. Hope you can see it okay on the camera. We'll be going 9 minutes 15 seconds now. Not sure what low battery warning is going to be like on this. So I'll bring it in a little bit closer and try and put it back into vertical mode and keep it nearby to see how long we're going to get before we lose power with the battery. Then we put it back into vertical mode. Oopsie. Okay, stop the clock. Okay, so it didn't recover too well and get back into vertical mode well. No damage on the looks of things. Recalibrate, both sticks down, light flashing. Okay, that's it calibrated. Start the clock again, take off in vertical mode. Okay, so holding quite steady. Get back here. Good roll. I'm losing control. Do that. Okay, better flying in horizontal mode. No, that was low battery that caused it to come down. So a flying time of just over 11 minutes, mainly in horizontal mode. So quite a good flying time for the small 600 mAh battery. But if I try and put throttle now, getting no response. Open it up. Battery still connected, no status light, so that must definitely be low battery. Disconnect the battery. It really flew very nicely, a little bit difficult to maneuver in vertical mode. In horizontal mode, very stable and steady. I did do a quick flip into manual and does turn very well, but it cruises very nicely in horizontal mode. Now I'm going to set up FPV on it, and I'll also fly it in manual mode with FPV in a bigger area in my next review of this.